It's been 6 months since our community was crushed when a little boy went missing after a boating accident. Despite a long, exhaustive search, 7-year-old Hunter Slezak was never found. Tonight, our Natalie Williamson talks to some of those who did all they could to find Hunter, including complete strangers who felt compelled to help.
It was the day after Thanksgiving, a time for family fellowship. But that normally peaceful day turned to tragedy for two families when something terrible happened off Dauphin Island. A boat in trouble, 3 people overboard. The bodies of 2 men found, but a 7-year-old was missing. Tonight, for the first time, we look back on the search and the agony that came with it when a little boy named Hunter captured our soul.
And we place them with feathers. It would be perfect.
These precious memories show a glimpse into the life of Hunter Slezak. Hunter's mother, Megan, sent us these videos and pictures to help tell Hunter's story. A 7-year-old full of joy and love who to this day hasn't been found after a tragic boating accident off Dauphin Island.
He's become little Hunter to people on the island.
We're going to keep searching for you even in the dark of night.
We know that God has a plan, and he prayerfully will help these men and women and all the volunteers find this little boy.
Hunter Slezak.
Hunter Slezak.
Hunter Slezak.
Hunter Slezak.
A name that echoes across the Gulf Coast. A 7-year-old boy from Semmes with a bright, contagious smile. Little Hunter has touched thousands of lives across the nation. His story isn't the ending any of us had hoped for, but it's one no one will forget. November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. For Sam Woolley, Michael Slezak, and his son Hunter, it was a day to go shrimping. The 3 launched Woolley's 22-foot boat, Marty Ann, at Billy Goat Hole on Dauphin Island, ready to catch shrimp. It was around 3:30 that afternoon when Michael called his wife Megan to check in and say they wanted to stay out an extra hour because they were catching a lot of shrimp. But that was the last time she or anyone would hear from him. 1 hour turned into 4, and there was no sign of the 3. Fear quickly set in for the Slezaks and the Woolleys when their loved ones had not returned.
The Coast Guard received a report of an overdue vessel, a 20-foot white cuddy cabin named Marty Ann, with Sam Woolley, Michael Slezak, and a 7-year-old on board in the vicinity of Pelican Bay.
That night, the Coast Guard got word of the missing boaters and prepared for the daunting task ahead.
A lot of memories come back.
Standing on the white sands that was filled with multiple crews just months ago, Lieutenant Commander Mike Francis, the search and rescue coordinator for the United States Coast Guard with Sector Mobile, remembers November 30th all too well. The Coast Guard, along with the Mobile County Sheriff's Office, other agencies, and volunteers, began frantically looking for any sign of Michael, Sam, and Hunter, searching by land, air, and water. Daphne Search and Rescue also getting word of this mission.
We stayed out till probably, I want to say about 2 o'clock that morning searching.
Lieutenant with Daphne Search and Rescue, Bailey McDonough, and Francis were just 2 out of many people with one mission: get Sam, Michael, and Hunter back to their families. After hours of looking, crews found the bodies of Michael and Sam. Michael, a loving husband, father, teacher, and coach at Semmes Middle School, and Sam, a Vietnam veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. While the 2 men were found, grief was on hold as crews kept looking for little Hunter.
We always hope for a different outcome, right? And finding Michael and Sam, while it provided some measure of closure, still is not the outcome that we're looking for.
Over 65 hours and 2,042 square miles, which is the size of the state of Delaware, was searched by the Coast Guard, but there was still no sign of Hunter.
It's hard when it's, you hear the story and everything,
Yeah, it's home.
It was a difficult decision, but Francis says they had to face the heartbreaking reality. They had exhausted all viable options and had to suspend their efforts to bring Hunter home. What was going on in your mind when you found out, we're leaving the search without Hunter?
It's an incredibly complex question. Anytime you suspend a case professionally, it's a very difficult conversation. There's a lot of different factors that go into making the determination to suspend a case, and it's not one person that makes that determination. There are layers of review and concurrence that are provided that really enable us as responders to feel confident in the response. But on a human level, as a husband and a father of 4, to suspend that case, not having located Hunter, absolutely devastating.
Although the Coast Guard stopped its efforts, the search wasn't over.
As y'all are aware, we've been out here since early this morning, and we can confirm that we have located the boat. We have not found the child.
I'm looking at the name on the
The breaking news with the gut-wrenching details. The Marty Ann was found a mile offshore, but still no Hunter. This is the very first time we're seeing footage of the dive that confirmed the boat found was in fact the Marty Ann, recorded by a crew member with Daphne Search and Rescue. This is the area where authorities found the boat that Michael, Sam, and Hunter were on November 29th. When they found the boat, they had hoped to find Hunter in the cabin, but they quickly realized the cabin had been detached and Hunter was nowhere to be found.
Of course, the whole way down, I was dead certain that, okay, we've located the boat, he's going to be in it.
Lieutenant McDonough recalls the moment he learned the Marty Ann was found. He, just like everyone else, was praying for Hunter's family to have closure.
I know when I was that age, I would get in bad weather. You might go lay up front by the anchor where you got a little shelter from the wind and the wave action. And so that was really my thoughts, was that he would be tucked somewhere inside the boat. But our diver checked all of that, and then just to be double sure, we went back to the sheriff's command post, and everybody reviewed the video together of the dive, and so he had taken the camera into all those little tight niche spots and showed that he wasn't there.
Although this little boy was just 7 years old, Hunter touched the hearts and souls of many throughout the Gulf Coast, including Crystal Olson, who wanted to bring the community together to honor his life.
Overall, I think it was very empowering for a lot of people to be able to come together for the same reason.
Everything in me hopes that they find this little boy so she can have the closure.
On the night of December 12th on Fort Morgan, while music played, candles were lit, flowers were dropped, and prayers were said, a community in mourning came together, united in grief. Olson says she and her daughter Avery were at home when they heard the tragic news. They even went to the island to help search efforts, but Olson tells me she felt a calling to do something more.
I don't want anybody to lose sight of it. I don't want anybody to move on to the next topic for whatever happens in our community and this to be forgotten. I want Hunter's memory to live on.
That cold night, tears were shed and everyone looked out to the water knowing this little boy was out there somewhere. When words might fail, Olson knows prayer holds power, and she wants Hunter's mother and family to know everyone is here for them.
I don't have words to comfort you except for just know you have a whole community that's still standing behind you. Every one of us say prayers for you daily.
And replace them with feathers. It would be perfect.
Hunter's mother, Mrs. Megan, tells me she is extremely thankful for the outpouring support from the community and for all of these crews who have dedicated their time to the search.
And Natalie, we still don't know what caused the Marty Ann to sink, right?
No, we don't, Cameron, and that is still under investigation by the Coast Guard, and we do expect them to have that report out soon. All right, Natalie Williamson, this family has been through so much, but we know the community will always stand behind them. Stay with us.